بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. We continue inshallah ta'ala with our series in regards to ghusl. As we mentioned before, those terminologies about what ghusl means, and that is the full body wash, and the tahara means purification from what? From the janaba. What is a janaba? Janaba is a state of impurity that is removed by the ghusl. The ghusl is a medium, and that is the full body wash. And we will inshallah ta'ala come to explain how we will come to it inshallah ta'ala. But to recap what we mentioned in regards to what constitutes, what necessitate the ghusl, mean what makes the ghusl mandatory, is when four things happen. We mentioned the hayd, and that is menstrual cycle, or the monthly period that women have, or nifas, and that is postpartum bleeding due to childbirth, also through intercourse, and also through expulsion of semen, and that is what is known as also ejaculation of sperm. These are four different elements that would necessitate, should these four happen, then ghusl, meaning the full body wash as an act of worship, becomes mandatory to do. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says fattaharu in the wording, the construction of the wording in the ayah, it insinuates to doing it immediately. Rush to do the ghusl, in other words. And in regards to the ghusl for women, to just summarize it a little bit more, it comes as a result of four things, and that would lead us to explain a little bit in detail. Of course, the menstrual period, monthly period, and also the nifas, and that is the postpartum bleeding. But also two things that are in common with men: penetration as well as wet dreams. And this is when it comes to expulsion of semen. Now, both when it comes to wet dreams, we mentioned before, it is for both men and women. Should that happen, then ghusl becomes mandatory immediately. That said, for men, whether that is expulsion of semen, this is regardless of how. Once semen or ejaculation of sperm happens, then ghusl becomes mandatory. Also, penetration and wet dreams. So 3 for men and 4 for women, in other words. Now, there is a detail that the fuqaha went into, and that is in regards to the types of liquid that comes out, especially for men and for women at the same time. And that is, especially for men, it has 3 different levels of what is known in Arabic as madi, wadi, and an mani. The mani is sperm, semen, but the wadi and madi, these two are in the description given by the jurist. You will see the distinction, and there is a ruling behind that distinction. In regards to the mani, we spoke about it, and that is semen or sperm. This, if it happens, it comes, they say, first of all, in the description of the mani, they say it comes out with force. It gushes out with force. And it is very thick and white. And it comes as a result of the whole body limbs pushes it out. This is why the whole body goes into a mode of complete relaxation. And then it pauses, as if it is the whole strength of the body goes out, and it deflates, as a result of that. And this is why they say the ghusl becomes mandatory after that. But in regards to sperm in of itself, they describe it as being not impure. ليس بنجس. What does that mean? Meaning, if it's not, it doesn't follow the rule of what the wadi and madi, as we will come to see, is. The rule about the wadi and madi, it follows the rule of urine and feces. Meaning those are impure. They will, in other words, the wadi and madi and urine and feces, these four, in other words, if they get on your clothes, you're not, or on you, you cannot do wudu until you wash off from all of these four. But when it comes to madi, which is semen or sperm, it is not impure. Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha said that she used to really just clean it off of the clothes of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam never regarded it as being impure. And then Abdullah ibn Abbas said, it follows the rule of saliva. It is the same line of ruling in regards to saliva. If saliva gets on your clothes, it is not impure, in other words. And meaning, you will not, if it happened that a man's semen gets on the clothes, you can pray with the clothes, and those clothes are legitimately right for you to perform the salah, and the salah is correct. Versus if you had either wadi or madi, urine or feces on your clothes, and you perform the salah, you're supposed to redo that salah and wash those clothes. This is the distinction in regards to what is impure versus what is pure. The semen or sperm, it's not impure in the sense that if it gets on your clothes and you pray with those clothes, your salah is valid. Versus the other way, when it comes to the wadi and madi. What is the difference between madi and wadi? The characteristics of the madi is it is very light, and it comes as a result of an erotic thought or foreplay that usually happens. But this is just because it's not full expulsion of sperm. That would be ejaculation, and that would be many, but it is just the leak in it. It doesn't come with force like many would, meaning the sperm would, but it comes as just leaks, and it comes as a result of a foreplay or erotic thought. This is when it comes to madi with M, wadi with waw. It comes as a result of a physical exertion. Usually and this is something that you don't even feel sometimes. For people who have some labor work that they would do, and it is physically taxing on the body. The body, subhanallah, just pushes out that liquid out of the person, and you will find, subhanallah, that it usually wets the area. And it also comes sometimes when it follows urine, of course, as a way for the body to get rid of, subhanAllah, that exertion and the physical labor that happens, subhanAllah, and the body really pushes that liquid out. So these two, they follow the same ruling of urine and the feces, and that is, if they get on the clothes, you cannot pray with those clothes. And you, on the other hand, because they're called najis, they are impure, whether that is madi or wadi, they are both impure, and yet although they are both impure, they do not necessitate a ghusl, full body wash, but instead they are treated as with the same rule as urine is, and that is you only perform wudu. On the other hand, subhanallah, you see that mani, which is sperm, although it is pure, it would necessitate rather, the ghusl, full body ghusl, subhanallah. And then when it comes to the ruling of what necessitates ghusl and what doesn't, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does. This is why you will see using that rational thinking as to what, if you were to think about it and I were to think about it in that regard, then our rational thinking will take us to a totally different results versus what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala laid for us. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us amongst those who when they hear the speech, they follow the best of it. Sallallahu alaihi wa sallam ala nabiyina Muhammad walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.